Visitors local and overseas are being asked to take the Tiaki promise. Not heard of it yet? Well, it has only just launched this afternoon. It was launched by Tourism Minister Kelvin Davis alongside tourism and conservation related organisations. Taxpayer money has gone into the campaign. Here's a bit of a taste.
The Tiaki promise is a commitment to care for New Zealand, for now and for future generations.
To care for land, sea and nature, treading lightly and leaving no trace.
To travel safely, showing care and consideration for all.
To respect culture, travelling with an open heart and mind.
There's no actual physical pledge, it's a commitment, an attitude, and the organisations plan to spread the word mainly via the web, a social media hashtag and an in-flight video on Air New Zealand. The campaign comes hot on the heels of debate over freedom campers, tourist drivers and a burgeoning number of visitors in a straining infrastructure. I asked Tourism Minister Kelvin Davis to explain to me what the Tiaki promise is.
You could say it's a movement. It's just a positive encouragement for people to look after New Zealand, look after each other, to have respect for our culture, our country, and to make sure, like I say, that when they leave New Zealand or they finish their trip around New Zealand, that the country isn't in a worse state than when they arrived here.
Was it your idea?
No, this is a collaboration of 7 organisations that have involved in the tourism sector. It's collaboration at its best. It's about the tourism sector acting and working as a team to get great outcomes for New Zealand through tourism.
So how will you measure those outcomes? How will you know if it's worked? If it is a feeling and it's a hashtag and a movement, how do you know that it's worked? How will you measure that?
Well, one of the, we've had issues around responsible camping. We'd like to think that those issues are resolved. We'd like to think that the feedback that we receive from people, the mood of the nation when we do those sorts of surveys, that we have positive results from all those different indicators that the tourism sector use to measure its performance.
But those aren't actual tangible measures you've just listed there. You've just talked about your hope and you hope that you have positive feelings back about it. But actual tangible measures, how will you measure that this message has got through and people are doing what you want?
I think those are... Well, look, I disagree. I think that there's ways that the tourism sector measures how well this will be, how effective this will be. So, no, I disagree with you.
So, what evidence have you got that these kinds of campaigns are effective, that they work? Did you do focus groups, or did you do some kind of market testing?
Well, just bear in mind, Lisa, that this wasn't a government-driven thing. This is the tourism sector coming together, 7 organisations that have seen something similar. I believe Palau, I believe Iceland, I believe Hawaii do something similar. And so this is the tourism sector actually working together to try and get these great outcomes and to educate our visitors on how to behave while they're in New Zealand.
But there's public money that's gone into the pot, isn't there?
Well, Tourism New Zealand has put $130,000 towards it, but there's 6 other organisations that have also contributed to this. And like I say, this is collaboration from the tourism sector at its best. It's a positive thing. It's encouraging our visitors to care for New Zealand when they get here and to sort of state these are our values. We look after the land, the sea, we look after each other as we drive, we care for the culture, we appreciate people.
Why do you reckon it's going to work? What makes you think it'll work?
Oh, look, there's a whole heap of expertise in the tourism sector that have come together to do, to develop this concept. And I've got great faith in the people who have done this work. I think it's taken some time to pull together. They've been highly successful organisations in the field of tourism. So I've got a lot of faith in the work that they've done and this, the Tiaki promise, this whole concept that they've brought together. This is a great day for tourism.
So you like the campaign? You like it?
Yeah, absolutely. I support it 100%. This is going to be good for New Zealand. This is educating people to respect our communities, to respect our culture, to respect our people, to respect our environment. This is good for New Zealand.
But those are messages that we're constantly putting out. So do you think maybe, or would it have been better just to have some clear road signs, some extra toilets, some practical things instead?
I think you're just being too simplistic, Lisa. I think that you need to see the positives in this whole concept, and it's pretty disappointing that you're talking it down the way you are.
No, I'm just curious as to what you think the positives are and how you're going to measure them in a tangible way.
Well, like I say, the tourism sector, this is the concept that they've come up, they've collaborated on. They'll be working together on the ways to measure it as well. And I, as the Minister of Tourism, totally endorse it and support it. I think this is fantastic.
And that is the Tourism Minister Kelvin Davis there. So what do tourists think of the Tiaki promise? We sent Alex Perrottet out to find out.
Kia ora, Lisa. What better place to be after today's announcement than Auckland International Airport at the Arrivals Lounge? Now, I'll have you know, I've already taken the Tiaki promise and I will be putting it to some of the visitors who are coming in today. We'll bring you all their reactions straight after the news at 6.